them. And coming up also in today's bulletin is stomach flu, medically known as gastroenteritis, where symptoms may persist for as long as 10 days. Also in today's bulletin on our global front, we will bring you information about a 360-degree view of a baby's first 1,000 days of life. Details of these stories and many more in today's bulletin. Please stay with us.
Psychoactive substance that occurs naturally in coffee. Manufacturers also included in many sodas and energy drinks. While it is a socially acceptable substance, research is conflicting about its safety and long-term impact. Caffeine acts as a stimulant by activating the central nervous system. It can react tiredness and improve concentration and focus. The main psychoactive ingredient in coffee is caffeine. This is a compound that naturally derives from over 60 different plant sources, including coffee beans, tea leaves, cocoa seed, and kola nut seed. A 2019 study at university students found that people who consume caffeine has a mean intake of around 173 milligrams per day. As well as its stimulating effect, caffeine may provide several health benefits. Of caffeine intoxication.
Gastroenteritis is an intestinal infection marked by watery diarrhea, abdominal cramps, nausea or vomiting, and sometimes fever. The most common way to develop viral gastroenteritis is by contact with an infected person or through contaminated food or water. The most common kind, caused by a virus, makes one feel sick for 12 to 48 hours and can last up to 3 days. Gastroenteritis usually resolve themselves without any medical intervention. Treatment is focused on reducing the symptoms and preventing complications, especially dehydration. Depending on the cause, viral gastroenteritis symptoms may appear within 1 to 3 days after you're infected and can range from mild to severe. Treatment strategies that may be employed include resting and replacing lost fluids and electrolytes by drinking plenty of liquids. Sports drinks can be included because they can help with electrolyte replacement. Certain teas such as ginger and peppermint can also help calm the stomach and alleviate nausea. Also, ensuring fluid intake even if vomiting persists by sipping small amounts of water or allowing ice cubes to melt in the mouth can be very effective. Gradually starting to eat again is another preventive strategy. No specific restrictions are recommended, but blander foods might be easier to start with, like cereal, rice, toast, and bananas, and others. However, symptoms may worsen when some foods are taken. They are fatty, sugary or spicy foods, dairy products, caffeine, and alcohol. To avoid the dangerous and potentially fatal effects of dehydration from diarrhea, oral rehydration salts (ORS) are recommended for vulnerable persons such as infants and children, adults over 65 years of age, and people with weakened immune systems. According to the former Director General of the World Health Organization (WHO), Dr. Gro Harlem Brundtland, ORS in developing countries has been one of the great public health success stories of the time. It has reduced the number of deaths every year among children with acute diarrhea.
Describes when a person's menstrual periods are normal in terms of volume of blood flow but occur at intervals of less than 21 days. According to the National Institute of Health (NIH), a typical menstrual cycle lasts between 21 to 35 days, with bleeding between 2 to 6 days. The bleeding is when a person's period occurs. According to another report, an average volume of blood loss is 20 to 80 millimeters. A medical professional considers a person's cycle to be irregular if there is a significant variation in the length of the cycle. This may be described as an abnormal uterine bleeding if the person is not pregnant. Examples of menstrual problems include periods that occur less than 21 days or more than 35 days apart, missing 3 or more periods in a row, menstrual flow that is much heavier or lighter than usual, periods that last longer than 7 days, periods that are accompanied by pain, cramping, nausea or vomiting, bleeding or spotting, that happens between periods after menopause or following sex. In relation to pregnancy, people who have polymenorrhea may find it more difficult to get pregnant. This is because ovulation occurs when the ovaries release an egg, and in polymenorrhea, this may occur earlier than usual or happen at irregular times during cycle. A 2016 study indicated that women aged 21 to 45 who were trying to get pregnant had less chance of conceiving in one menstrual cycle if their cycle was less than 26 days. Another study of women aged 19 to 41 found that women with high menstrual cycle variability had a 51% low probability of pregnancy per cycle. Other symptoms may include hot flashes, mood swings, weight changes, and fatigue. Many people notice prime menopause symptoms in their 40s. Sometimes stress may be at the root of menstrual irregularities, and anyone experiencing stress should address this with a medical professional. Polymenorrhea can severely affect a person's life and may impact their work or school life, social life activities, and the way they feel.
Constant yawning, heavy eyelids, blurred vision, and veering off the road are some of the signs that you are falling asleep while driving. This is driver fatigue. Always stop when tired. In Ghana, by law, after 4 hours of continuous driving, drivers should take a mandatory 30 minutes rest. Whilst resting, avoid heavy food, alcohol, and drugs. Even some medication can impair your driving. A driver can then drive for another 4 hours in that day. For long distances, share the drive. Avoid driver fatigue by getting a good sleep before trips. Don't drive tired. Stop road crashes now. Stay alive.
This road safety education is
Anxiety disorder. Sometimes a person develops a phobia after a traumatic event. Trauma is a response to extreme stress, which may stem from a direct experience of something dangerous or distressing, witnessing something traumatic happening to someone else, or having an unexpected panic attack, which can lead to a fear of the situation or location in which the attack took place. Thalassophobia is the fear of the ocean or other large and deep bodies of water. A person with thalassophobia may be afraid of the vastness or emptiness of the ocean, the sea creatures in the water, or both. A person with thalassophobia experiences feelings of fear and anxiety about the sea or other large water bodies that do not match the level of danger that the water poses to them at that moment. The person may be afraid of being near the ocean, going into the ocean, visiting beaches, or even traveling on boats. In severe cases, symptoms may be triggered by images or thoughts of the ocean or other deep water bodies. The anxiety that thalassophobia causes activates the fight, the flight, or freeze response, which is the body's way of preparing for danger. This produces physical symptoms such as sweating, fast breathing, and an elevated heart rate. In more severe cases, the response may escalate into a panic attack, which may cause lightheadedness, heart palpitations, trembling or shaking, sweating, the feeling of choking, nausea with or without vomiting. People with thalassophobia may have had negative early experiences with the ocean or felt unsafe while learning to swim, or they may have become afraid of the sea after seeing news coverage of an event such as a shark attack or tsunami. It is common for people to not remember any specific event that triggered their phobia. Specific phobias such as thalassophobia often develop in early childhood, which can make it difficult to remember the initial cause. Persons can also develop
There is no period more critical in a child's development than the first 1,000 days of life. During this time, a child's brain can form up to 1,000 new connections every second. But these connections only come together when a child receives three things: nutrition, stimulation, and protection. Breastfeeding in the first 6 months is the best way to give a baby the nutrients she needs. Lack of loving care in the early years is a missed opportunity for brain development and can potentially have negative lifelong consequences. But when parents shower children with love, they thrive. Feeling safe and loved sparks brain connections, making it possible for babies to explore the world and learn from it. Playing, singing, reading, and talking with children helps them strengthen family bonds and form positive relationships. In the earliest years, most of the energy from food is used for brain development. Responding to a baby's cry, smile, or coo helps her to build communication skills and empathy. How children are cared for in the early years lays the foundation for their brain's architecture. Future health and happiness are shaped by a child's environment and experiences during the early years of life. Make the early moments matter for every child.